with layout number 8 from my Creating with Collections series, which this is the second time that I have done a run through of sort of kill a kit type mentality with a themed collection kit. And this one is the Hip Hop Hooray from Simple Stories. And I mentioned in the video for layout number 7 that I am getting a little bit limited on which items are, I guess what I would say, Easter specific. And I'm still managing to get layouts done. I think I just am kind of mentally transitioning into some spring layouts as well in between some of these Easter ones, just to kind of get some of those other icons and whatnot used up. Now, normally I won't gut paper like this, mostly just because I'm lazy and I don't mind using up the paper, but I tend to pick these kind of like B-side patterns in general. And I knew if I used them up that I was going to really limit myself on what was left in my kit. And most of it's going to be hidden behind this photo collage. And so I decided to kind of gut that. That way I can kind of stretch those two patterns just a little bit further. Same thing with this leftover scrap of a pink pattern from the collection. I only needed maybe 1.5 inches that was going to kind of peek over on the left. So instead of cutting a full strip off of what is left, I just went to something that was already, cut into. And like I said, this stuff's going to be hidden behind this photo collage and you won't see it. And I will say that I kind of took a little trip over to Etsy because I was curious, just because I haven't seen Carrie Bradford Studio put out templates in a couple years. So I went over to Etsy and lo and behold, there's all kinds of people that make photo templates that you just open them up in Photoshop, you drop your photos in, boom. And a lot of them are formatted to just automatically fit an 8.5 by 11, piece of photo paper. So I downloaded a couple of those. This is one that I got, which to me, this is a very basic, very easy to use photo template. And I like using photo templates, especially in this kind of application, because it's an easy way for me to get, in this case, I think I've got 8 photos kind of done, but I don't have to manipulate 8 photos on the layout because they all kind of live on this one print. And this is a layout style or sketch or whatever you want to call it that I do a lot because it's what I like. It works for me. It works for my supplies. So like I mentioned in the the video for layout number 7 this is kind of the time in this process of this type of kit where I start relying on things that I like because it helps speed up my process and it helps keep me like motivated to finish this kit. So for me, things like a large photo collage, strips of paper kind of broken up in like a wallpaper in the background, having my white pattern paper sort of frame the layout, a cluster kind of grounded to one area of the collage, putting my title and my journaling together. Those are just kinds of things that work for me. And because I know that I will be happy with the end result if I follow through with those, then I go with that. I could pull out 10 layouts that all kind of follow this structure, but they all look different. And because I don't scrap chronologically, like I don't work on my photos in chronological order, I do put them in my albums in order. But because I don't work on them in order, it doesn't bother me to have layouts that kind of scrap lift each other because they're not going to be facing each other. Off the top of my head, I know I have a video showing a Christmas version of this type of layout, and even if it's the same year, it's not even going to be in the same album because I tend to do, the first 6 months of the year in an album and the second 6 months of the year in an album if I can get it in too. But it wouldn't bother me if they were back to back and they looked the same. To me, it's It's kind of like when you find a sweater that you like, you buy them in 8 different colors because you like the sweater and you don't care that there's 8 different colors. It's not like anybody's going to come up to you and say, you know, you like the same thing too much. I don't care. I'm going to do what I like in order to get through this process. I also like mixing double page layouts and single page layouts, especially for this process, because it does help me look at my supplies differently and it helps me kind of use them differently. I notice that if I do double page layouts sort of back to back to back to back, they start to feel the same and it starts to become boring to me. And it just kind of starts to feel like I'm using the supplies for the sake of using the supplies instead of finding creative ways to enjoy them. So, I don't know, just putting that out there. And then if I do a single page layout, you guys know by now, I'm just not the type of person to put like 1 or 2 photos on a layout. So for me, things like photo collages or cutting your photos into like squares and doing a grid, that works for me because I want to put as many photos as I can because I take so many photos and I'm an indecisive type of person in general. I don't want to have to narrow it down to, you know, 1 photo because I don't want to do 10 layouts all representing, you know, my kids enjoying their Easter baskets because I took, you know, 10 amazing photos. I didn't take 10 amazing photos. I picked 8 that worked, put them on a collage. That way I kind of get the whole representation of that morning and it's on 1 layout, not taking up 10,000 albums. Like, that's just what works for me. I have told you guys for years, like, do what works for you. If your process would have separated these 8 photos into 8 layouts, by all means do that because that means that works for you. You enjoy that. That works for your creative process. Like, do what works for you. I like to just kind of share what works for me, but also explain why, because I have had people ask me, I guess, to explain why, because I don't think that I have like a specific style. I have some friends that I have made here on YouTube who I know before their video even starts what I'm going to experience when I watch their video because they have a distinct style. I know it will always be a 2-page layout, or it will always feature full-size 4x6 photos, or it will always feature a prominent photo and a like nice like mix of layers and embellishments surrounding a single photo on a single page layout. I am kind of all over the place. And I'm okay with that because I like different things. To me, it's, you know, back to the clothing reference. Sometimes you want to wear jeans and a t-shirt, and sometimes you want to wear something a little nicer, or sometimes you just don't want to get dressed that day and you want to wear pajamas. Do what you like, do what feels right for you, and don't feel like you have to explain anything to anybody, I guess. But this is my completed layout. The only thing that I really pulled from my stash that wasn't necessarily in my kit was just some pink sequins, just to kind of add a little bit of something else to the layout. I will be back in another day or 2 with layouts 9 and 10. And until then, I will say bye and I'll catch you guys later.